All right, we are going to go back to Dallas now. You're looking at Sky 4 pictures. What a crowd there, starting to move into the streets of downtown Dallas, and I believe that's Irvay Street, if I'm not mistaken. But this event started at noon there at Dallas City Hall, so just about an hour and 20 minutes ago. And then our own David Centendry had heard from some of the organizers and folks on the ground that the idea was for the latter half of the protest until 2 o'clock, that they are going to, in fact, do a march. And that's exactly what we're seeing transpire right now. This is Irvay Street. Thank you for that, Matt. Again, viewers, apologize for talking to the control room. It's a little bit raw and unfiltered here, not like the traditional newscasts that you're used to seeing on the traditional television screen. But that's how it goes with live television here, as it's coming in raw and unfiltered and happening live on this Saturday afternoon. A very hot, muggy day across North Texas, and you are looking at what appears to be now thousands of people that are leaving Dallas City Hall and starting to take to the streets, and they are going to be marching. Not clear at this point where they are going specifically, if they have an end point in mind, or if they are just doing this sort of on the impromptu side of things, and they're just going to walk around for a little bit and then wrap things up and put a bow on it at 2 o'clock. Or, of course, we could see these go past 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they could go longer than the time they were originally scheduled to go. That, again, one of the theories as to why this was being held in the afternoon, so there's not as much opportunity for mayhem. But there you see now the front end of the group that's marching there. I'm trying to read that street sign there, can't tell, but they're marching through the streets, and of course that means traffic is shut down. And so that's Jackson Street there. Thank you, Matt. Jackson Street, they're marching across right now. Irvay marching across Jackson Street as we speak in downtown Dallas. So obviously, if people are out and about and you don't know that these are going on, and you're wondering why it is a parking lot on the streets around and in and around downtown Dallas, this is why, because you have a very large demonstration marching through the streets of downtown Dallas right now. Much more subdued over in Fort Worth at Burnett Park. Things seem a little bit less organized there, a little bit more grassroots, if you will. As you heard, just lots of cars honking as they drive up West 7th Street down there in the heart of downtown, not far from Bass Concert Hall. But as we suspected, Dallas is where the action is, and that's what you're seeing right now from these live pictures. I want to point out that our assignment desk, our intrepid folks working the assignment desk, checking in with folks at Dallas Fire Rescue and with Fort Worth Fire Rescue about any injuries or any heat-related calls. And once we get numbers on those, we'll keep you updated on that. But that's something that we're mindful of, and we've been talking about that as it is pretty hot out there, a hot summer afternoon for an event like this, for people to be not only outside in the sunshine, but also marching. And so it's difficult where David Centendry is right now to see at City Hall. He says it doesn't appear to be super organized, but the march is headed north on Irvay toward Main Street in downtown Dallas. So people are holding signs and they are chanting. And as David pointed out, you've got people from all walks of life there. I've seen children in some of these pictures. I have seen white people. I've seen brown people. I have seen old people, young people, a pretty nice slice of society represented there, and what David and his photographer referred to as more grandparent age. I don't know what that means, but I think I get it. But he said that, you know, typically these crowds are filled with people of a younger generation, really wanting to get out there and create change in the world and spark change and make a difference in the world. And he said that the crowd wasn't as young as he was thinking, that the folks gathering in Dallas were more of a grandparent's age. They're turning on to Main Street right now. You can see this is quickly growing, and with it, we also should point out, grows the headaches associated with containing all of this, and when it comes to policing. It's one thing when you've got a large group gathered on the plaza there in front of Dallas City Hall and everyone's sort of in one location primarily, but now when you've got people on the move, mobile, going from point A to point B, that creates more soft targets and other things that members of law enforcement worry about when it comes to things like these. So you are watching Fox live streaming coverage this afternoon of the No Kings protest happening in downtown Dallas, in downtown Fort Worth, other points across North Texas and around the country for that matter. Philadelphia, by the way, is where the organization is based, and Philadelphia was sort of the hub of this event today. Their flagship march and rally was held at Love Park from 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern. And this, of course, has all been to counter the military parade in Washington, D.C. A lot of pomp and circumstance with artillery and military personnel marching through the streets of our nation's capital to celebrate the Army's anniversary, but also President Trump's birthday and Flag Day. So this is the results, a nationwide day of action as people marching through downtown Dallas. I'm not sure if David Centendry is on the move or if he is in a position to check in. Okay, so he is moving, which I suspected because he was starting there at City Hall where things began, and now he's trying to get up and ahead of the crowd so he can find a good place to plop down and bring us additional live pictures. Boy, oh boy, that is quite some crowd there, ladies and gentlemen. Last check, we had a Dallas police figure of some 1,300. That number is definitely grown. David Centendry is back with us. I see the camera moving around, shaking around. We're live on the ground, folks. What do you see, David?
Hey, Casey. We are walking up Irvay Street right now here in downtown Dallas, approaching Main Street. And I can tell you, there are definitely more than 1,300 people out here. There are a lot of people taking over this downtown area. This is the march that we had gotten a heads up about just before the protest started. You can hear that cheering as people are starting to enter toward Main Street right now. It's a very energetic crowd out here. As far as the signage goes, I got to tell you, a whole lot of them. I mean, it's been a minute since I've seen this many signs at a protest. There are a whole lot of them out here. You've probably noticed the American flags out here. That is intentional. I know there was chatter amongst people in different groups saying, hey, a lot of times at immigration protests, we bring out the Mexican flag and the flag for Mexico, and that has been controversial. Some people wanting to use the U.S. flag more so, hey, we want to make change in our country. So it was intentional for people to bring out specific U.S. flags this go around. I think we're going to pause here for a minute and just show people walking by. I apologize for any expletives. It has been a peaceful protest in the form of nonviolence, but we certainly see and hear a lot of curse words and foul language being pointed at the president. Stuff that, again, we're going to do our best not to let get into air, but there is a lot of anger from people out here pointed toward the president, so it's almost impossible to avoid apologies for that right there. But it's unclear where they're going to be going, how far along they're going to be going through downtown. Again, we weren't given the route for this, but right now we're approaching Main Street as people start shouting, no justice, no peace. Want to maintain that we have not seen anyone get out of line as far as any physical violence, but with a crowd this large, we know Dallas PD doesn't necessarily want people taking over streets, but I don't know how much you can do at this point with this many people taking over this area of downtown. It would be pretty hard to break up if that's what they wanted to. We don't know what their official plan is. We did request a sit-down interview with Dallas's police chief on Thursday and Friday, trying to just get preparations in order, try to get an idea for what they want to see happen, but we were not provided those opportunities after multiple requests. So, and again, they like to keep that stuff close to the vest sometimes for security reasons, but just saying, we tried to reach out and tried to get some sort of a plan, but we did not get that opportunity. The protest is taking a left here on Main Street in downtown. And we can just kind of let it breathe from this corner for a minute, because I think this is a pretty good visual. If you look down Main Street, that way, it goes on for several blocks. And then if you turn to our left, you can see that for several blocks back towards City Hall, this thing is still ripping. I'm not sure if we have a Sky 4 aerial view right now overhead that can just show how many blocks it's covering. I can't make it out right now, but it's certainly a very large walk right now.